talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, if you are currently standing up, I want you to take a seat and just sit down and gear up and get ready to go for today's episode of Keek on the Mic, because this episode is going to get real. The report, and I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen it, is that Mike Florio thinks that Bears don't believe in Justin Fields. And this is just straight up comical, and I'm going to get more in detail what Mike Florio actually had to say about the Chicago Bears approach on how they're building around Justin Fields. But everyone has been criticizing the moves or lack of moves by new GM Ryan Poles. It's no question that Ryan Poles has taken a different approach, a very quiet approach as the new Chicago Bears GM, which we talked about many times on this podcast. But the question everyone is asking is, what is the franchise doing to build around Justin Fields? Obviously, that's another thing that we always talk about, right? What will Ryan Poles do to build around Justin Fields to help him improve from year one to year two? So that is a fair question. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio believes that the lack of moves from the Bears' new regimen reveals their belief that Fields is not the franchise QB of the future. Here we go. This is what he had to say while doing an interview on 670 The Score. It feels like the Bears are deliberately taking a step back. And the problem is usually teams do that when they don't have a QB they believe in. Mike Florio, I'm going to need you to shut the hell up. Like, seriously, dude, shut the hell up. And to me, I feel like you are definitely full of it. This is definitely one of those things that he just has an opinion. He's going to just blurt out anything. And I've watched a lot of Mike Florio's takes. And most of the time, it is just straight garbage. You guys probably remember that podcast I did a couple of months ago on Booger McFarland talking about Justin Fields and, you know, him needing to live and die in the pocket. Sometimes these analysts just say shit to get under people's skin. And obviously, this comment got under my skin for the simple fact that, have you even listened to one word that Ryan Poles has said as he came in, as he started this new adventure as the Chicago Bears GM? He made it very clear that he wanted to get the Chicago Bears out of cap hell, okay? And he wanted to build through the NFL draft. One of the ways that he's getting out of cap hell was by trading Khalil Mack. Not only did we gain draft capital back, so he can build through the NFL draft, but we also got that massive contract off our books. That is one of the biggest things that Ryan Poles is trying to do, is get us out of cap hell and build through the NFL draft. The moves that Ryan Poles has been making is to set us up for 2023. And all Bears fans know this at this point. But obviously, Mike Florio hasn't been listening. So before you blurt out all these takes, these terrible takes, you need to pay attention and listen what people are trying to do, what our plan actually is. Learn a little bit about what Ryan Poles is trying to accomplish as the Chicago Bears GM. And another thing, not only is Ryan Poles setting us up for 2023, he is not going to overspend. He is not going to sign players to stupid contracts like Ryan Pace once did. What Ryan Poles is doing is taking a different approach to free agency, setting us up for the future, while still signing quality players to team-friendly deals. And the funny thing about this whole Mike Florio take is that Mike Sando from The Athletic talked to some NFL executives, and one executive had this to say. They like Fields. They are just getting out of their cap problems. Trading Mack helps. They are just trying to sign as many cheap players as they can. And they then try to build with younger players through the draft. Mike Florio, does that sound familiar to you? Because like I've mentioned so many times on this podcast, I know I probably sound like a broken record. I mentioned this so many times on the podcast. Ryan Poles' goal was to get the Bears out of cap hell, which he is currently doing already. He has set us up for 2023 and beyond with a massive amount of cap space and build through the NFL draft, which we'll see his first NFL draft as the Chicago Bears GM later this month. And another thing I want to mention to Mike Florio, if he truly, Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, and this includes Eberflus, the McCaskies, everyone in the Chicago Bears organization, if they truly didn't like Justin Fields, why don't you just trade him away? There's a lot of QB needy teams that would love to take Justin Fields. So if you truly think that they don't believe in Justin Fields, why wouldn't they trade him away, Mike Florio? Answer that for me. When you are making statements, you have to give us a little bit more. Because obviously you are not understanding what Ryan Poles' mission was. He couldn't just come in and start signing a bunch of players and put us right back in cap hell. You have to take a step back before you can take a step forward. And that is what Ryan Poles was trying to do. And what Mike Florio was hoping that the Bears are doing is just go out there and sign as many people as we can. Sign the top free agents for all these crazy amount of money. Just like Ryan Pace did. But obviously, Mike Florio definitely did not get the memo, and he hasn't been listening to one word Ryan Poles has been saying. And let me tell you guys this, Bears fans, and let me tell this to Mike Florio as well. I know he's not going to be listening, but I'm just still going to say it anyways. Justin Fields will be fine. And Mike Florio, please just stop it, and just please shut up. Because this was a really bad take on your part. And even though a lot of people probably feel the same way as you do, and there's still a lot of questions on what the Chicago Bears are doing, that take didn't make no sense because obviously you haven't been listening to one word Ryan Poles has been saying. So like always, Bears fans, how do you guys feel about Mike Florio's comments? Let me know down below in the comment section. And usually I don't let things like this get to me or get me heated, but I've been hearing this a lot from different analysts. I know most of the time they're just speaking all that nonsense just to say it, just to get a rise out of people. But guess what? They got a rise out of me this time because that was just, to me, a really bad take on Mike Florio's part. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you